is derived from the leaves of the coca plant. When cocaine enters the body, it has a strong effect on body functions by acting as an irritant on the brain. Large overdose of cocaine causes convulsions, then death. Cocaine causes unusual and often unpredictable feelings and actions. In his ignorance, Marty took that dare, little knowing the eventual horror that lay in the deadly white powder.
Marty, have you seen the thinking chairs I bought last week? Can't seem to find them anywhere. Marty, you don't seem right. I'm worried about you. There's something wrong. I'm going to take you down to Dr. Beaker this afternoon for a checkup.
No, I'm all right.
As his body gradually built up intolerance, he needed more and more of the drug. Cocaine causes unusual and often unpredictable feelings.
Hello, hello. Oh my goodness, it is so glitchy. I really hope that's just on my end. Okay. So we're going to pause the music. I'm going to take away the banner. Hello, hello, everybody. Good evening. It's a Sunday, 8 p.m. Actually, a couple seconds before. That's all right. I'd rather be early. You are listening to K.I.S.S Recovery 101. Bridge Sky here, the host for tonight, pretty much any night. But I never know. I'm always open to having anyone else step in. I'm super excited for my guest today. This is a person, I don't want to share too much. I want to let you share what you feel comfortable. But we've been setting this up, and I'm so happy she showed up, because you just never know when there's too much time. People like to change their minds. But tonight, I really feel like is a deeper, heavier subject. So I'm excited that you're a person I like. Since I've met you, everything that comes out of your mouth, I'm like, oh, I like her. So guess you want to just introduce yourself. You can talk about whatever you feel comfortable, maybe how we met or how you know me, and maybe what we're going to do tonight. But totally, floor is yours. Please don't just say, hi, my name is.
Okay. Hi, my name is Jamie. I met Bridge about a year ago in Bad Moms. I am a mother of 3, married for almost 16 years. I don't know what else to tell you about myself. We're going to talk about love relationship dysfunction tonight. And part of the Sober Mom's Guide to Recovery. So I'm excited about that.
Yes, and I'm going to start making this a continuous thing, into the Sober Mom's Guide to Recovery. Rosemary O'Connor is such an amazing book. I've read it multiple times, and I'm so excited you kind of let me pick the chapter tonight, because I wanted a long-term married person, because I kind of have that hater mentality. I'm not really, you know what I mean. But it's nice to get that other perspective that it's been a long time since I've, been in long committed relationships. So, all right, let me read the post. So if you're new listening, it's live for a reason. I want you to interact, comments, questions, your opinions, viewpoints. I miss a lot. We only get an hour. It goes by really fast. So anything that comes to your head, pop those questions in there. And the nice thing is I have the Facebook private group for a reason. It's private, so you can stay anonymous. So you can interact, and I won't know or see who you are. So that's totally an option, but YouTube's my jam. Okay. So tonight, fear of abandonment. Oh, it's still, I'm still reflecting on that stuff. Let me tell you, processing. So, a quote says, "My fear of abandonment is exceeded only by my terror of intimacy." Ding ding. That's from Ethlie Ann Vare. Dysfunctional Love Relationships. So, this is actually chapter 9 in Rosemary O'Connor's book, and blatantly brings out awareness of love addiction. More importantly, allows someone seeking true recovery to take a good hard look at how easy it is to switch from substance addictions to attachment, love, and or sex addictions. You know how they always say going from one addiction to another. There's, it's healthy, like, so if it's a gym addiction or it's, a meeting addiction, but there is a point when, even for myself, for service, Jamie, all things have to be in moderation, and I could do too much. At the end of the day, it's a cover. I ended up, even though it's healthy or whatever, I thought it was healthy, it's fine. I'm really distracting myself from what's really was going on. So now I'm very happy that you went ahead and reread the chapter. Now I haven't read it for a few months. So reading through the chapter, anything that stood out to you, we're definitely gonna do the pillow talk thing, but
Yep.
anything that you right away were like, I love this part, or I question this part, or, especially when you hear the word abandonment. Oh, and we will be doing the hot seat tonight. This is gonna be a correlated question with that one. Um, yeah, you have the floor.
Well, let's see. So I have been married for 16 years, and when I started reading this chapter over, it made me think like, well, I'm not going to be in a relationship because I'm obviously married and I've been in one forever. But there's just so much more that went into this, and it really brought me back to how I was before I got married. I had a lot of relationships, and they were all for the wrong reasons. One thing that it said is love addiction often begins in early childhood due to lack of healthy bonding with the primary caregiver. And it's like, daddy issues is the one thing that comes to mind. And it's like, yeah, I think that's such a, whether you have an addiction or, an alcoholic or whatnot, like that is something that a lot of people deal with when they have maybe parent issues, that it comes out sideways. And I read through this, and there was so many things that stuck out to me, reminded me of myself growing up.
Yeah, I see you got a little paragraph underlining.
Yep, I got underlining.
Read that whole
Okay,
thing.
so where it talked about that due to the lack of healthy bonding with the primary caregiver. It said love addicts have a strong fear of abandonment, which often stems from rejection, neglect, or abuse, physical, emotional, or sexual, in early childhood. The core driving need for love addicts is reassurance from the love object. Love addicts need someone to tell them they are okay and are lovable, desirable, and worthy because they don't believe it about themselves. That really stuck out for me because I was so unhappy with myself growing up. I always felt like I was less than for some reason. Um, and so I've tried to find a boy, really, not a man, when I was younger, but to give that to me, it's like, no matter what I did, and whether it was a short-term relationship or long-term, I never got that love from them that I was needing somewhere else. Love addiction can be an escape from reality, loneliness, and stress, and in a way to avoid true intimacy. So even though you're trying to find that relationship, you're not really, having true intimacy with anybody. You're just trying to fill something within, and a relationship's not going to do that. You need to fill from your own cup before you get filled from someone else.
100%. Okay. Everything you just said right there, I thought of 10 things to say. So, for sure. So, I did attend some SA, sex addiction meetings, okay? Because I thought love, I didn't realize there's love addiction, because now when I've heard of and understood love addiction, it wasn't really, it never was about the sex. It really was about this need to feel loved and wanted. And for me, especially lost and being so used to just numb and emotionless, like sex has never been intimate for me. I'm in therapy, I'm working on that. Okay. So sure, I would, have all these physical interactions, and it's like a drug, because I felt like in that moment we're connected and intimate, but it was all physical. And even when I thought it was mental and emotional, I did build, some relationship, some time with that person. At the end of the day, when I started to really when I really, really surrendered and really wanted to work on myself and really do recovery, I started to realize how much I needed to reflect and look at what I didn't even know what real intimacy was. I thought sex. Okay.
Yeah.
So, and now that I have taken that time to push away, not push away, but move away from those distractions, not letting myself distract emotionally, mentally, physically. It's been nice because even though it's hard and uncomfortable, I thrive off that because now I really know myself so well. I love myself enough, I definitely say there's some days that I'm just like, God, you're such an idiot. But I genuinely love myself. And I didn't realize that was a big part of what I was seeking was I wanted someone to say they loved me. I wanted someone to say they felt that connection intimate with me. And truthfully, on the other side, I didn't feel it. I didn't know what it felt like until I found myself. Okay, so again, this book is so amazing. Sober Mom's Guide to Recovery. And honestly, it doesn't just have to be for moms. I'd say parents.
Oh yeah,
Right?
anybody. Yep.
Yep. And what's great is they're short chapters. Like they're right straight to the point. I don't see any of them more than 3 to
Yeah.
5 pages. And after each chapter, especially one like this where it's heavy,
Mhm.
I love that she gives tools.
Yep.
Tools, things you could do right away with yourself or other people, both, to just go ahead and start processing.
Yep. Start practicing.
Okay, so one of the I'll just read at least the first couple of paragraphs, but I really want to get into the pillow exercise.
Oh yes.
I remember I read through this a couple times and it never stood out until one of my besties, Andrea, was like, Bridge, remember, it's like the pillow exercise in the book. I'm like, pillow exercise? And it's legit. Like now, every time I feel I'm overwhelmed or I want to take on a new adventure, and before when I was like, oh, I should start dating. This would be fun. That guy was hot.
Sounds like a great idea.
Yeah. I just look at my pillows. Okay. So here we go. In the rooms of AA, it's suggested that we not date for the first year. Again, that was like, what? A year?
Seems like a long time.
Yeah, because we need that time to focus on our recovery. Often we see people replace their obsession with alcohol and other drugs with a craving for an intimate partner. Sometimes they'll even put their children second to satisfy their need. We need to remember as mothers in recovery or parents that our primary goal now is to stay sober and create a stable and safe environment for our children. The last thing our children need is for their newly sober parents to switch their focus to a new love interest or to have a stranger invade their environment. Oh my gosh, Dave. Like, this is flashing in my head because here's me. I thought I could tackle it all. I'll just give him plenty, I'll make sure the kids get their time. Look at the mom and me time. And here's what's interesting, though. I tend to attract other people, males, that need recovery as well or have abandonment issues as well. And are seeking that same thing, that need that love too. So when I was trying to balance both, they started getting real needy. Oh, you're always about the kids. Well,
I need more attention. Give me more.
Yes, it was like another child. So sorry. Sorry, not sorry. So when I put down the alcohol, I would pick up a man, and my sponsor tried to warn me against having a relationship that soon, but I thought those guidelines didn't apply to me. I was different and I could handle it. Boom. Seriously, every time I read this book, I'm like, oh my gosh, this is me. But to make her point, she had me stand up. Here's my favorite part. Do you want to read from here?
Sure.
So she, the sponsor is beautiful as she made this point. So if you want to just start right there to make her point.
Okay. To make her point, she had me stand up and do the pillow exercise. She stuck one pillow under my right arm and said, "This pillow symbolizes your recovery." She then put 3 more pillows under my left arm and said, "These represent your children." Finally, she put one last pillow under my chin and said it represented my full-time job. As I stood there awkwardly, she gave the final instruction. "Now reach out and hug your new boyfriend." Of course, when I reached out my arms, all the pillows dropped. It was a rude awakening, clearly illustrating that bringing a man into my life at this point would lead me to drop everything else that was important to me. Yet even with this evidence, I didn't take her advice.
Oh, yeah.
So very true.
So there's so much I could say. Before I start rambling, do you want to say anything else?
And I think that's so good, especially early in recovery. I know a few months in, it was like, I got this. I'm so excited. I'm so happy. Felt good to clear my mind. It's like, I'm just doing such a great job. I felt so good. And it's like, well, now that I got all my shit together, because I was fixed, it would be really easy to say, well, let's start a relationship. And if I wasn't married, that probably would have been the first thing I would have done, because I was like, now I can have a good relationship. Now I know what I'm doing, and it's just going to be happiness ever after. But so thankful for my husband more often than not. But yeah, I just could see how that would be so easy to do.
Without even realizing it.
Yeah.
Oh, we got a comment. Okay, so Tara said, "This is so great. I am literally doing shadow work, yes, on how having narcissistic parents instilled a sense of not being enough. Yes. Having a void that needs to be filled, chasing after any short-term high. Yep. Be it love or alcohol or drugs. I need to be of use in some way. Oh, yep. Purpose. Yep. Same here. And serving some purpose to validate my own existence. The feeling of being a burden just for taking up space and perpetrating the pattern of unhealthy relationship after unhealthy relationship, seeking the love that I should have." Oh, and it cuts off. If you want to finish that comment, so it cuts off. I hate this.
It only allows so many
Yeah,
characters.
all I see is dot to dot. So please, can you just copy and paste the rest of that? So unhealthy relationship after unhealthy relationship, seeking the love I should have. Okay, yes. And again, that awareness piece, that's what I love about recovery and the different paths, especially 12 steps for me, allowed me, it's a path, it's a program for self-reflection.
Yep.
And especially the fellowship allows me to do that with the right people who genuinely, unconditionally care about me and really want me to do well. So I want to go on to read, as you can see, there's many colors and highlights.
Highlighting.
Yes. It says, "Of course, it is normal to want love and romance in our lives. But when the pursuit of love and romance becomes compulsive and turns to obsession, we need that hit of being with this person. Then it is another form of addiction known as love addiction. And as with a chemical addiction, the consequences of this addiction can be devastating. It can ruin marriages, kill self-esteem, and even lead to suicide. Love addiction often begins in early childhood due to lack of healthy bonding with the primary caregiver. Love addicts have a strong fear of abandonment." See, and even that word fear. You ain't good. Nobody was going to tell me I was scared of nothing. I'm not scared. Leave. But here's where I look back and I'm like, I would ghost people. They would be gone forever. That's not healthy.
Right.
And then, I'd be drinking and using. And in my head, I'm like, oh, they were kind of a nice person. Maybe I could have, this or that. But as soon as you tell me I'm weak or I have fear, I totally disassociate.
Don't want nothing.
I want nothing to do with your wisdom.
You get too close, and then I want to push you away
because I don't want to be hurt.
Yep.
I don't want to be once again felt like I didn't have any value.
Yep.
Okay, let me just finish this quick. So it says, love addicts have a strong fear of abandonment, which often stems from rejection, neglect, or abuse, physical, emotional, or sexual in early childhood. The core driving need for love addicts is reassurance from the love object. Love addicts need someone to tell them they are okay and are lovable, desirable, and worthy because they don't believe it about themselves. Oh, that makes me want to cry. Love addiction can be an escape from reality, loneliness, and stress, and a way to avoid true intimacy. Do you want to read some of the common signs of a love addict? Oh, hey, God, let me just finish. Oh, thank you, Tara. Okay, it says, and perpetrating the pattern of unhealthy relationship after unhealthy relationship, seeking the love I should have had from my parents, and that I now need to learn to give to myself. Yes, Tara looks familiar. It was like I don't have my glasses. Thank you, Tara. Yes, you just nailed it. And it was such a pattern. But I had so many patterns and cycles surrounding my addiction, I couldn't see the other things.
Yep.
Okay, go ahead and read those common signs.
Some common signs of a love addict: compulsively fantasizing about or focusing on one person, becoming attracted to emotionally unavailable or abusive partners, moving quickly from one relationship to another, feeling incomplete without a partner. I know that was me when I was younger. I could not be single. Neglecting to care for self, becoming sexually or emotionally involved without knowing the person, just jumping right in, wanting to be rescued to avoid taking responsibility for ourselves. I think it's really easy to jump into any of those things too, but maybe like a well-balanced, healthy person might realize this isn't the way to do it. And those are, they keep you away from somebody who you could actually have a true intimate relationship with, somebody who's caring and that you could build on those steps for a long-term healthy relationship.
And I'm gonna have to look ahead. I wonder if it's in this chapter. I think she gives, because there's this amazing tool that changed my life. I wonder if it's this chapter. But you write a list of your dream man, your dream partner, okay, male or female, your dream partner, like what a great partnership companion would look like. What are those things, And initially, like really take the time, because I really took the time to think about the character of that person. First my list was so short. And then I'd get out, I'd be all like happy, and I'd be like so like on this high, and I'd have this long list. And then I realized like, oh, well, okay, so that's the assignment. So I had this long list of all the things of my dream companion that I would spend the rest of my life with. It's so silly fairy tales. But at the end of that, making that list, then she says, okay, so go ahead now. Look at that list. Do you possess those things on your list? Oh, you don't? So go ahead and make yourself those things. And when you do that, when I did that, and I did reflect, I've made a couple lists now, but looking first at that list, I'm like, holy crap, what am I?
I'm a shitty person.
What? Yeah, I'm not even these things. How could I expect, want that from somebody else? Ding, ding, ding. No wonder I was seeking partners that were like filling those things that I didn't even possess.
Yeah.
Right. And at the end of the day, what I learned was, now my list, it's been fun. I still like to just update it, because as I'm growing, I got 3 years now. Now I'm back in therapy with a fantastic trauma-informed therapist, because intimacy has always been an issue for me. I don't trust people, let alone myself sometimes. And so it's nice to have that professional that I can really put on those things. I'm still triggered. Like I still have, it's so funny because I want to be close and connect with people, especially, on a, sexual intimate level. Okay. Let's be real. Okay. But as soon as I feel that rush, it's like my addiction. It's like I start obsessing about them. I start thinking about them, craving that. Hanging out with them is silly. I mean, it's not silly though. I'm just putting it out there. That's the reality of it. So,
and that makes me think of one thing that I seen out here. It's like, so let's say you date that new person and you really like them, and then you start becoming, you're obsessing about them, and then you try to figure out what your partner wants you to be, and then you play that role. So it's like, it's really easy for you to lose yourself, because in your eyes, this person is perfect. So I'm going to change who I am, so I'm perfect for them too. And you're not, basing your relationship on true intimacy, because you can't be yourself. You should be able to be yourself 100% and find someone who loves you for you.
You just nailed it. Right. And we got another comment. That was just a reaction to, or an alarm. So if you are new listening, so this first segment is just us having a conversation about this fantastic book. Okay. And we just got an alarm just to remind me to interact with you guys. Yay, interaction. Then the next segment is we're getting an alarm, and that's when we do the hot seat. Jamie, 3 hot and heavy questions. Again, they're questions that I wrote in a sense of, I've asked myself these questions, maybe throughout the week, maybe throughout my life. Who knows? And then the last segment is really my favorite, just because it's kind of a great way to end the show on just it's live Facebook memes. Now, let me tell you, Jamie, this past week, it's been a rough week. I can't even tell because I get so distracted, but I had like 0 funny memes, maybe 1 or 2. I had to go like do some digging before I came out. So I realized, okay, this is a good time to get back into my reading rituals. Okay, so let's see. Oh, Emmett Diesel. I think we know who that is.
Do we?
Maybe.
Oh.
Okay.
Oh, yes, we do.
Yeah, we do. Shout out. That was a great learning tool. I remember we read that in Bad Moms. Yes, sir. So, sorry. Make a list of what you want in a partner and then be those things. Great job, ladies. I love her.
Thanks, Lori.
And then, okay, so Tara said, it's because the only love we have ever known has been unhealthy and conditional. So we are terrified, expecting the same experience and then creating a self-fulfilling prophecy. Ooh, she's on it.
Wow.
She's talking about the
she knows
self-fulfilling
her
prophecy.
thing.
So true. Okay. We gravitate towards what is familiar. Familiar is not necessarily healthy. Yep.
Wow,
I say
so
that
true.
all the time. Like with my car is perfect analogy recently. It's busted. Like the bag is unsafe to drive. Okay. And I'm lucky enough that I have good friends that are letting me use their car. I have a good driver, whatever. And they have fancy cars. Like they got the backup like video cam and like it's totally safe and awesome. I just like was been doing little things to my car, like clean it out, still giving it love because I love it. It's silly, but I literally sat in it and I started smoking a cigarette. I'm like, but I love my car. Part of me still wants to drive it, but I know I can't. So, okay. But just to wrap it up, I want to read this story. I hope I don't cry. I'm okay with crying though. This will make you feel uncomfortable. But this story was 100% me. So if you're looking in the book, page 48, it says, I had witnessed one of my best friends, and what makes me emotional is I definitely listen and I see it all over the rooms in the meetings, in the support groups, especially with women. Men too, but a lot. You see what happens before the relationship, during the relationship. And so yeah. Okay. So one of my best friends in recovery struggle with love addiction. This was a beautiful, spirited, present woman until she became obsessed with her new boyfriend and his porn addiction. Okay, I didn't have that piece, but and she progressed in her love addiction. I underlined this. The light faded from her spirit and nearly went out. When I was with her during this time, she was elsewhere, completely checked out, as if in some sort of trance. One day, she actually called him 23 times. And when he still didn't answer, she left her young children home alone and drove to his house in the middle of the night to peer into his window. Okay, I didn't do that either. But I remember that obsession. When she started her recovery from love addiction, I saw her beautiful light return and her spirit come alive again. When I received that voicemail telling me I was being dumped, she reached her hand out and took me to my very first 12-step meeting of Sex and Love Addicts Anonymous. So that is SLAA. Y'all, if you want to get in there, there is a lot of males, but I'm happy to say if you go online, there is female only meetings like that. So we started she started her recovery from love addiction. I saw her beautiful light return and her spirit come alive again. When she received that voicemail telling me that she was dumped, she reached her hand out and took me to that first SLAA meeting. I was so angry to be there. I raised my hand and blurted, "You all better promise me the man of my dreams if I do this program." I didn't know at the time that the program had nothing to do with finding a romantic partner. And that's so beautiful. And here's the funny thing. So my beautiful sponsor was one of those folks. It's like, and she's great because she would never say, "Bridge, don't do this." And she would definitely plant some seeds. She'd be like, oh, you met so and so. How's that going? Mm-hmm. How do you like? Oh, so how long has it been? And ask those questions so I know what she's asking. But I think for me, when I realized that she was right every single time, I'm gonna go ahead and follow one of her suggestions, which is like so I didn't even here's what I would suggest to anybody. If a year sounds like a lot of time, because I also have never really been alone that long, in a year. I'm not trying to toot my own horn, but I'm a likable person. So if somebody likes me, I like you, cool, let's stay, I don't label anything relationships, but I realized that was only distraction. And so I really took this list seriously and I really committed. I put myself in a committed relationship with myself. Okay. And just really the person that I wanted to be. That's who I was in a relationship. That's who I've been in a relationship mostly this last 2 years. Well, and I would say mostly because now I am that person, and now I'm just trying to heal that wounded inner child, that relationship I have with my inner child. Because yes, what she's saying is 100% true. What I witnessed as love between my parents, nobody can see my air quotes, only you can, was completely crazy and not existent. I never saw physical love. I barely ever heard them even say "I love you" to each other, let alone me. And I remember that's why I think I was so obsessed with movies. and then music, because I
The perfect
dreamed that that's what it
relationship.
could be like. That's what
Mhm.
really life is like. It can't be this terrible all the time.
But think of how unhealthy that is too. You tell a man that you don't like him, you're not interested in him, but he keeps chasing you, and then eventually you fall in love with him. So if somebody really cares about you, they'll just try harder. It's kind of the whole thing. No really means yes, just try harder.
Yep.
No doesn't mean no, just means try harder. So you can't really get all the warm and fuzzies from the movies either.
Correct. Oh, it's bullshit. I'm my own white knight in shining armor. Thank you very much. Just kidding. I do have like great best friends now, and that's what this program, this group of women, this moms group, and just the great meetings that I get to go to is like, now those relationships I have with my friends and my family in recovery, that's what matters to me.
That's what's
And
important.
yes, and that's what's me. And so intimate to me is like my connections with my best friends,
Yep.
Mahana, Sarah, Jessica, Andrea, like I can let that guard down. They know the deepest, darkest things about me, and they still love me. And like vice versa, I feel like is mutual. Like it's just wonderful because it's like I never have to ever guard myself or put a wall up. So
Well, and that's the goal of a relationship too, where you
Mhm.
can be yourself. And I think that's, you fill your own cup up, you learn who you are, what makes you happy, what kind of person you want to be. And then you find somebody who just fits in your life, and, you live happily ever after. And that's kind of what our goal should be. There's that true intimacy that we're too scared of before.
yes.
Mm.
Well, and I don't like keep my list out or anything. I haven't even looked at it in so long, That's why I do want to pull it out. But here's the thing, I don't even fucking care about the list anymore. Now that I am those things, like I'm not seeking that,
You're not looking for it all the
Literally,
time.
I don't even think about it until I see someone attractive. I'm like, oh wait, I should think
Ooh.
about that list. Okay, so sorry, listeners. Okay, so thank you for participating. It really means a lot to me. It says we gravitate towards what is familiar. Oh yeah, we already said. So Martin's on. Shout out Martin. Facebook user says yes. Okay. Well, I know that alarm's about to hit. I just wanted to go over a couple of the sober mob tools, like again, sober parent tools for overcoming love addiction. So it definitely suggests number one, regularly attend one of these 12-step meetings for Love Addicts Anonymous. So there is particularly one, LAA, or Sex and Love Addicts Anonymous, SLAA. I recommend all women go to the all women meetings at least for a year. Again, I don't like these time frames. Okay, so when I did commit to my sponsor's suggestion, I'm like, I'll give myself 6 months.
Yeah.
Or even 90 days. Just start with something that seems reasonable. Then I would check in with my sponsor or my besties or whatever and see how it's going. But then I'd be like, oh, good. I want to keep this going, But as long as I gave myself shorter termed, like the year went by, and before I know it, I'm sitting 2 years going on 3 and not even thinking about it anymore.
Right.
Do you want to read the second one?
Sure. We're going to visit the Sex and Love Addicts Anonymous site, slaafws.org, and complete the 40 questions for self-diagnosis. You go to coda.org and read characteristics of a codependent. Both of these 12-step programs can change your relationship dysfunction.
Mm-hmm. And then number 3, find a therapist who specializes in love addiction and commit to seeing that person for a year to work on this issue again with a year. But here's the other thing. Don't think you're stuck with one. Okay. Like my actual great therapist that I had for DBT, she's like, therapists are like shoes, Bridge, you don't buy the first pair of shoes. It's very unlikely that I buy the first pair of shoes I try on. The point is to make sure you find that right fit, because definitely for me, if it triggers a wall or if it triggers me being defensive, or here's a really right away red flag for me is when I'm lying.
Oh yeah.
I just had a great conversation, shout out, with my friends, and I have a little assignment that we're both doing is like catching myself in that lie in my head. Here's the thing, as catching myself in the lie in this head. So every night we're just gonna put out like a little lie that we kind of told ourselves, or a big one.
Yep.
And how did we flip that? Like, how did I catch that was a lie? So
that's a good idea.
Yeah, because I don't even notice it. Most of them are white lies. Like, I intentionally am not going to tell you look like shit. Okay, so those ones I can let go. But the ones especially that are looming and very stressful, financial difficulties, yes, I'm lying all over the place.
Yep.
I don't want people to worry,
4, take a year off from dating, flirting, and dressing sexy. This is not about becoming a nun. It's about learning to value you instead of getting hits from someone else.
Yes, compliments or whatever. Yeah, look at me.
Yeah.
My jam is sweatpants and hoodies. But you know what? That's what I think is I feel like if I do connect with someone that we're both attracted to each other and they love me through my sweatpants
Then they
and
get
hoodie,
you. Yep, they
then
get you
that's
when
the
you're
real deal.
sexy.
Yeah,
Yup.
then they get to see that when I try to bring out the flirty, sexy stuff. Okay, number 5. While you are taking time off from dating, or treat yourself as you. Oh, this is my favorite. I challenged the group
yep.
one time to do this. Treat
love it.
yourself as you would like a partner to treat you. Make yourself dinner as if you were having a date over. You can also have dates with your kiddos from time to time. Set the table with your nice dishes, light the candles, cook a beautiful meal, and actually sit down for at least 15 minutes and eat it. Buy yourself flowers, write a love letter to yourself, take yourself to the movies, buy yourself a special gift, take yourself for a night away. And each day say the words you are longing to hear from a partner, such as, "You are so beautiful and I love you so much." Oh, that gave me goosebumps. I never thought that would work, and it really does. It really does. If you think about something you would like a partner to do for you, then do it for yourself.
See, I love that one most because, especially a lot of times, you're looking for someone to tell you those things because you have a low self esteem about yourself. So it's just good to tell yourself these things, even if you don't believe them, because eventually you'll look in the mirror and you'll see that. So I like that. I like number 5.
Yeah.
Number 6, work on your own personal growth and developing your talents. Work on improving your relationship with your children.
Yeah.
Yep. The kiddos.
And that's what's interesting, I find, is that my relationship with each of my kiddos is different. They all have their own personalities. They all have their own characteristics. They all have their own love language. That's another great book to
Yep.
understand. There's 5 different ways people feel love. And again, that's another test to take. Find out what your own love language is first. It could be there could be 2, there could be you have 2. But seriously, once I finally understood what fills my love tank, what makes me feel loved, it made it so much easier to figure out my kids and everybody else around me. Right?
Yeah, totally. Because everybody's a little bit different.
100%. Oh, did you hear that alarm go off? This is a hot seat time, Jamie.
Oh, great.
Okay, here we go. Okay, now again, I'm trying to fancy up my stuff. So I did make a point. I used to just
Wing them.
wing the sound effects. Okay. Sarah pointed out last week that I make my own with the screenshots. I haven't found that one yet, but I found Intense Fire. Jamie, you ready?
Ooh,
Here we go. Let's see
sounds
if it's
scary.
like. Oh yeah. And it gets really hot in this small, intimate room here, Jamie.
It does get warm and toasty.
Especially when I'm just revved up. Okay, so that is the hot seat sound effect. We're going to just turn that off. Okay. It's hot seat time, Jamie. I had wrote 3. It's been a while since I've been able to do this. So it was actually really fun. And I made a point to sit down and just really, I wanted to make a point because I know you and I like you. I wanted to make sure that I do it anyway, but ask you things that, I would feel comfortable asking myself and answering. So, okay, are you ready?
I'm as ready as I'm ever going to be.
Okay. Again, feel free to only share what you feel comfortable, but like I kind of try to make a point to keep them vague and more general because I want you to just whatever pops in your head, okay?
Okay.
Question number 1, Jamie. Growing up, what did relationship dysfunction look like to you?
That is, well, relationship dysfunction. And I don't want to throw my mom under the bus here, but I love my mom. But growing up, her relationships really left a lot to be desired. She, she's had a lot of substance abuse issues with herself and with her relationships. So growing up, she was having a different boyfriend often. The ones she did keep around for a long time were sometimes abusive, verbally, mentally, physically. And growing up with that, if I ever did find one that maybe I liked, then it was time to go on to the next one. So that was really hard to see. And especially, then you don't believe that you deserve any better. So I think I seen that, and I kind of grew up thinking, well, that's what they were, toxic, up and downs, not calm. So yeah, definitely.
Okay. Great answer. So, can I ask you just a second
Yeah.
question? That again,
Follow
I'm
up.
reflecting on myself here. So, recognizing that, and now, how long have you been in recovery?
10 months.
Okay, time out, shout out. And you're married, and I just props to you. Okay, I didn't get married to get divorced. Okay, but
Yep.
definitely I was young when I got married, and we definitely we didn't make that work for good reasons. But now reflecting, especially having almost 10 months.
Yep.
Okay, I was there. You got your 9 months. That was awesome. Would you say that, especially being with your husband all this time now, are there things that you're like, oh shit, like I realize now this was a cycle that passed down? And have you had a conversation with your husband about things and where you're at and any reflection things?
Yeah, there's a lot there. So me and my husband have been married for almost 16 years. We've been together for almost 20. And we were friends for 6 years before that, like best friends. So luckily we can really communicate, which is huge. But we really love hard. So I think that has always been love hard, fight hard. And that's definitely dysfunctional. And when we were both using or drinking, there was lots of fights that were, leaving and driving and drinking and screaming and fighting in front of the kids. And there's a lot of dysfunction. We actually, we did take a break for a couple months. Me being in recovery has really changed things. But it's only been for the better because we just keep communicating. I know what I want, and he's forgiving me for some of the things I did, and he's figuring out what he wants too. So we're really working together so we can be better people by ourselves and together. So, I got to say, the longer that I'm in recovery, the better our relationship gets. There's a lot more calmness and not all that dysfunction of the high highs and the low lows.
Gotcha.
That's
beautiful.
Oh, thanks.
Yeah, see, that warms my heart. And see, I love that, taking just, what does it say? The heart grows fonder.
Yes,
You
for
know,
sure.
100%. And so I think the fact that you took that space and you were able to come back, because I know there's been times where I took space or they took space, and that was like it.
Yeah.
Okay, you're done, whatever. Well, then it wasn't genuine, but at least you know that, like, it's genuine. You guys want to work on it.
Yep.
And, nothing's perfect. Okay.
No, nothing's perfect.
Yeah. Perfect's boring.
Yes.
Fuck the fairy tales. Okay. Question number 2, Jamie. Okay. In your recovery path, what's been the best advice that you were given that you still use presently today? Like, what's something somebody gave you as advice that you're like, wow, that just clicked. Like, yes.
Oh my gosh. I don't do well under pressure. Let's see. What was some advice that I got? Just be better than I was yesterday. And that's, we're not in a competition with anybody else, and I'm not going to be fixed overnight. And so as long as every day I'm just getting better and I'm doing better than I was the day previous, then that's what's most important. So
I love that.
I'm glad I could think of it under pressure.
Yes. And that's the reality. I think for me, that's when I was able to start like forgiving myself. And I started to realize that, because I had many people back in the day that they love to throw that shit in my face, make me feel bad about stuff.
Oh, yeah.
And so when I was finally able to start just doing the best I could every day, and knowing that I'm making that intention, that power that I was giving them was go right away and right to myself. Okay. You're doing great. Last question.
Thank you.
Okay, Jamie, question number 3, hot seat. As a mom, okay, how do you process personal guilt? Or if you don't have this necessarily process for any kind of, personal guilt, what keeps you up at night Recently. You know why I asked this question.
Oh goodness. I mean, I think there's always mom guilt no matter what, even if you're doing everything right. Not that there is one right way to do it. Even at the end of the day, I can lay in bed and think everything went great, but I can still find something that I'm guilty about. It's my process. I don't even remember us talking about this at the beginning. That's how I'm just huge on communication, listening, and I have no problem. If I mess up, I'm going to tell you I messed up and I'm going to apologize. Parents are just trying to make it through day by day and doing the best that we can. And I am really open and honest with my kids about that. Make sure they know that they're loved. Make sure when I mess up, I tell them I messed up and do my best not to do it again. That's the only thing we can do because I'll probably screw something else up tomorrow.
Uh-huh. Okay. Yes. And you nailed it. Just talking about it to anybody, getting it out of my head is key. Because I could sit there and go back and forth with myself. And especially with the guilt, like that's why Bad Moms, that group is crucial for me. Because I think just hearing what you guys all say, it's so funny because I'm so distracted and I do all these things. And then I think I'm doing great and I do self-reflect every night. But hearing somebody point out a certain situation, I'm like, oh, wait a second. Oh, she just took it to that level. I didn't even realize I'm right there too. Oh my goodness. So yeah, just talking about it. Wonderful.
Oh, there's so much of that in Bad Moms. It's like I don't even think about it. And another mom starts talking and telling, like, for instance, or this situation. And I'm like, oh my gosh, that's like exactly what happened in my house today. So I don't know where I'd be without Bad Moms. That has really brought me through my recovery every Monday.
Yes. Well, and that's a safe platform because here's the reality. Okay, moms like to compare each other, right?
Oh yeah.
Okay, so I vent at the bus stop, or whatever. Bitches go around talking shit, like they would. Why? Because they're just lower too, so they're just trying to make lower to make themselves feel better. So that's what I love about our group, and it doesn't, whoever you trust and feel that won't judge you, it's freedom. It brings me fucking freedom at least every Monday night, especially if I'm not checking in. So yeah,
for sure.
Okay.
Yeah, I
made it through. So bad.
Made it through.
I forgot the waters. Oh, and there's a couple more comments. Okay, a couple more comments. Wow, we're like right on time, Jamie. Ooh, you came early. We're going through these sessions early. This is fantastic.
I'm pretty much late for everything else I do in life, so I'm glad I could do good tonight.
Yeah, must be you like me. Just kidding. I mean not. But here we go. Okay, so
of course I do.
Yes, this is mutual. Okay, Facebook just said yes. Yep. And whatever you want to receive, be that for someone else. You want compassion, give compassion. Yes. And the universe says yes. Neil Donald Walsh
I love that.
Speaks on this idea 100%. Ooh, you want compassion? Give compassion. Ooh, that's so beautiful. There's Kiss Me Alarm. Oh, Kenneth is on 12 Faces of Sober. Good evening. Shout out. He's my guest next week.
Oh, wonderful.
Wrote this amazing book. I hope you're still listening, Kenneth, because I want you to know there's a specific chapter on marriage that we're going to talk about. But he's fantastic. He's actually here in Minnesota. I didn't even know that initially. But he does a lot of video and stuff just out in virtual land.
Oh, okay.
I've never heard of has a podcast, but he wrote this amazing book.
Okay.
So he's going to be on next week, and I'm excited because his book. Oh, I'm just excited. We're going to dig into that. But yeah, shout out. Okay, so here we go. Last segment. This is one of my favorites because it's just supposed to be lighthearted, Jamie. Tonight, I don't know. Okay, I'm so glad you're here.
I'm glad to be here too. I was dreading this day until all day long today, plus the last couple of weeks since I said I would do it. But I was like, nope, I committed. I'm gonna be here. I'm gonna make it through. And it hasn't been that bad. I've actually enjoyed myself. Right? So thanks, Bridge.
Yeah, it's a conversation. It's so funny because so many guests have come on and they're like, oh shit, this is just like a closet here. Yep. This is nothing. This is nothing.
Nice and cozy, comfy.
Yeah. Okay. So I'm going to take the banners off and go right into the beeps. So if this is your first time listening, again, I won't be able to see comments during the beeps. I only think I have like 8. But I'm going to flash the beams through the week. I screenshotted and liked for my reasons. And then you get to see them. But what's best is I have Jamie here who gets to look at them and we get to talk about those memes, whether they're funny, a lot of aha or inspiration. And I just love the memes too, especially this week where they're just blunt, straight in your face.
I love that.
Especially if I find that you can laugh. I actually went to a speaker room real quickly. Beautiful speaker meeting, 2218 Alano last night, 8:00. They do it Saturdays. Oh my gosh, she was amazing. Like pearls. I'm still processing because it was just I didn't have my notepad. I like to take notes, but I'm still processing. But one of the key things that she see now it's already out of my head. See, this is why I got to write stuff down. But she said so many things that was like, ding, like. Okay, the beam will bring me up to exactly what she said, but she shared some pearls on what I'm about to share on these memes. She was like, that's probably one of the best speakers I ever had because she did not follow the protocol of experience, strength, and hope. She did, but in her own way.
Nice.
And that was the point. But she made a point to say, I know the difference between when I wasn't in recovery, when I wasn't in my addictions to the days now. Because today I can laugh at this shit. The stuff she was sharing.
Yeah.
Because there's a lot of times nobody be laughing at it. We all kind of chuckled, but because you don't want to laugh about it, but she can laugh. And that's like a key indicator you're doing something right in recovery.
You're not embarrassed by the shame of it, where it eats you up inside when you think about it. I do not miss those days.
Yes. All right. It's free app, so it's
okay.
No functional. Let's see if I can get this. Okay, here we go. Let me try it again. Okay. It's meme time.
That's where the music comes from. Now I know the
now
secrets.
You see the secrets.
I see the secrets.
And I'm so cheap. I'm like, I'm not spending $5 a month for this stupid app. This is once a week.
I'll listen to that advertisement.
2 seconds. Yeah. Okay, here we go. Okay. So I post them up. So how's your vision? Because I can't always see.
Yep, I'm good.
Okay, so you let me know if you can't see any of these or read any of these.
Okay.
But I have them in order. Okay, so describe. Who is that? Did you ever watch The Office?
I don't watch The Office, but I know that
Steve Carell.
Steve Carell.
Yeah.
Okay.
40-year-old virgin.
Yes.
I've
seen
him.
that one.
Okay, so he looks a little perturbed.
He looks bored, kind of. Me. So how have you been doing since you left your toxic ex for the 8th time last week? Client. You're going to be mad at me, but me. Steve Carell's face.
This goes along with sponsoring, mentoring, or just your best friend. You help them get out of the struggle. They do it, and then it's back with it.
They do the same thing again, and you know how it's going to end for the 9th time.
And the reality is, I knew.
Yeah.
Start making all the excuses. It's just funny.
You don't want to hear it from anybody else, though.
Correct.
You want all that positive thinking. It's going to be different this time.
Oh, yes. And here's my key indicator. So Marcy, shout out, my sponsor. She knew. She didn't have to say nothing. I started talking about all the reasons, blah, blah, blah. I look back now. Yeah, it's key. I shouldn't have to say nothing, You're
trying to make yourself believe it.
Exactly. That was what I was really doing. Okay. Do you ever watch
Megamind? Oh, Incredibles.
Yeah, the villain from Incredibles.
Oh, yeah, the little redhead kid. Yeah. When I stopped talking and realized my therapist hasn't said anything in a while, and then it's the villain from Incredibles pointing his laser finger at him.
Yep. So. Can you read it?
Oh, there's more. You sly dog. You had me at monologuing.
You had me monologuing. Do you remember that scene?
I do not remember that scene. I've seen that like 600 times.
Okay.
I loved it.
Yes. Yeah. Well, we've been watching it recently because they like number 2. It was whatever. You change it up. But you had me monologuing because he had the hero did that on purpose. They get a monologuing so they could sly around and do whatever they got to do. But that's the truth.
Come around the back and then catch them off guard.
Yep. All I got to do is get someone talking. Okay. Oh, this is pretty. I like this one.
To the world, you are a mother. To our family, you are the world. Oh, that's so true. I love that. It always makes me think of my grandma was like the most amazing woman ever. She had 8 kids. She was just, there wasn't a person in the world who didn't like her. And like, I see something like that. And it's like, that was my grandma. And that's kind of always been like, I want to be like her.
Yeah.
So that's so pretty.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. We don't even have to talk about that one. Okay. This was, here we go.
Falling down is an accident. Staying down is a choice. Isn't that true?
Do you have any daily like meditation books that you like?
I do. I go with the 24 hours a day. And I also bought the meditations of moms who do too much.
Yes.
I got that one when we started reading it in
Okay.
Bad Moms. And so I read that every day.
Okay.
I like that one a lot.
I find that like I'm not consistent. Really depends. I'll be honest. But lately I've been I like the nightlight one because I find that's finally the time I can really sit down and
when
it's
everybody
quiet.
goes to bed.
Yes.
Yep.
Mornings just don't work for me. But the nightlight one, it stood out last night. It was pretty much along these same lines, but it brought me to where I know myself uses that tool where it says just keep self-reflecting, just keep my addiction now is knowledge, just learning about people and myself. And one of the things that Les Brown said that I love is, you're gonna fall. Okay, everybody falls. Life on life's good. Life's just gonna suck sometimes, a lot of times. Okay,
Yep.
but if you fall, make sure that you land on your back, because if you can look up, you can get up.
Oh, I like
Woo-woo.
that.
And that's true. And like this last struggle, I've shared about this a little bit, with my daughter and stuff, like that's really hit me hard. And I didn't realize how much it could impact my recovery. But being able to have voiced all about this stuff, having those key people like Sarah, people that right around me, they saw I was falling. They saw I fell I've been falling and breaking my heart. She has, but I am looking up and I care about them as much as they care about me. And so I got up really quickly, like probably speed time. So how low I was getting, like they forced self-care on me. It was fantastic. But by the week and by Monday, like that was the cherry on top. I'm like, okay, bridge is back.
You got those tools that you know how to use now and you're using them. So that's the best thing you can do.
Well, and when I wasn't using them, thankfully, I do it. That's why it's important to have those connections with people.
Yeah.
They caught it. They were
call
aware.
you out.
That's the person slapping a person.
It's a black and white of, one person slapping another. If you can travel back in time, what will you do? Me, the one who's slapping, to my younger self, slapping him across the face. Oh my gosh, I think that so much. I think of all the stupid shit I did when I thought I knew everything. Oh my gosh. Oh, it's embarrassing. I'd like to tell my kids about a lot of some things. They can't know all those things, and it's in hopes that they won't do those things, because I don't want them to put themselves in those dangerous situations or make their life as hard as I made mine.
Yeah.
That's a goal. Make their life better, make them be better people than I was.
Yes. Well, and at the end of the day, I can't even be mad at my 12-year-old daughter, right? She's me.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh yeah.
And there are sometimes I just want to smack her. Just half kidding. Okay. But I have to reflect on, okay, but she is me, right? And the things that I'm saying now, I'm trying to think about now what I want to hear this.
Right.
How am I saying it? Like, even if, here's what's funny, she's so freaking smart, okay? She reads body language, face, tone, all that. So she knows I'm smiling, I'm saying the things. She can detect my tone of voice. She can detect, she calls me out.
Sarcasm
or she'll call me out on like, but you always say this, or you've always done that. So it's like, yeah, but in reality now it's a great way to be like, oh, it's Younger Bridge. What would Younger Bridge want to hear or see or do? Okay.
That means she's listening to you. That's a good thing, right?
Yeah, I started. The waters are calm. Knock on wood. Okay. Just words.
My coworker started crying because her boyfriend broke up with her through text. And my manager said, that's why we stay off our phones at work.
Oh my God. This meeting is hilarious because it's true.
You wouldn't be crying at work if you weren't looking at your cell phone.
Yes. And now you're supposed to be fired. This is whatever. I would have quit, because when I was in that love addiction, I would do anything. I was doing crazy things. I wasn't peering into windows, but I was doing calls. I was creeping and social media, whatever.
You wouldn't even care if you got fired. Then it's like, because my whole life is over. My boyfriend doesn't want me anymore. Then what point do I need to pay my bills or, let's just self-sabotage everything, because what else? There's nothing else in the world.
Oh my God. And I remember, because there's only one relationship where it was like that, where I was addicted to this person or how they made me feel. And he still is a great person. Like, this is so shame or whatever. But I just remember that obsessive thing because, oh my gosh, there's so many things I can't believe I did or said or was desperate enough. And actually, what we talked about in the book too, like I got suicidal. Like I really thought, because this person I had put on this like pedestal didn't, And when I look back, it of course was not his fault. It's funny because he was where I am now, you know?
Right.
He didn't seek that. He didn't need that. So I find that it's very common. A weaker person will cling on to a stronger person, which that's what I love about AA. I mean,
Right.
NA and recovery is that's what we want. We want, that's a good relationship connection. You don't want to be doing that with someone who doesn't have some kind of program,
Right.
you know?
Two people who are newer in the program, that would not go over
Drag
well.
your ass right down and leave you there
Yep.
and bury you. Okay.
Oh, what do we got? A lady standing on a cliff. Don't waste words on people who deserve your silence. Sometimes the most powerful thing you can say is nothing at all. And that is so true. Words won't even do anything. Turning around, walking away is like more than anything you could say to them.
And I think at the end of the day, especially, if it's not someone that's healthy for you, or you don't have time or energy, or you don't care, like love that person, they don't deserve your shit. It's way more powerful because that's what I found is if I was defending myself, if I go to defending I don't even do that shit no more, but if I was defending myself or making excuses or giving them all the reason or whatever, what am I doing? I'm giving them all the power. It's
Right.
stupid.
They know they can do whatever they want, and you're just gonna beg to be with them or beg to spend time with them.
Yeah. Oh. Okay. 2 more.
Some guy who looks like he's kind of like duh. That's what I see when I look at the face. What's that first word? When slaying, when slang I picked up from my teen clients makes its way into my daily vocabulary, bruh. Oh my gosh.
It's not even clients, honestly, my teens, my children, or just people that okay, I'm not a therapist. Okay. I'm actually trying to go back to school for some stuff. But I do work in a support, and sometimes I see myself as like a mentor, God person, whatever. I think I know so much. Let me tell you, I learn a lot from them. But especially the younger folk and my teenagers.
Yeah, for sure.
It's funny because I know now they intentionally will call me bruh for a reason. So guess what? I flipped that shit. But you know what? It's not good when I'm doing it outside of the house on accident if somebody I don't like. Then I'm like, oh.
Right in the middle of the meeting.
Bring that
bruh.
back. Yeah. Oh, especially dudes that take me off, because it's bruh. But that's a female that just called me what? That's right. I was just, I don't know. Last one.
Okay. Earl Nightingale. A great attitude does much more than turn on the lights in our worlds. It seems to magically connect us to all sorts of serendipitous opportunities that were somehow absent before we changed. Oh, that's nice. That's good. Magically connect us up.
I think
we wouldn't even notice them before because we just weren't aware or open to it.
That's a great one to end with, don't you think?
I do. Yep.
Go back to the comments quick. It's been such a pleasure, Jamie.
Oh,
this is going to be one of the.
Me.
Yes, I'm so glad you showed up. Like I was out there, you saw me paces. I was there. I'm like, oh gosh, this is going to be a flaker.
No, I wouldn't do that to you. I said I was going to be here, and I would not back out.
I totally believed in you. I'm just so happy, especially when it's my friend.
Right.
I get really excited. Okay, sorry. Comment. Shannon Lee Johnson says, grateful to be clean and grateful to have continued increasing awareness of my sometimes addictive behaviors that don't involve substances. Thank you very much. She just put that right on out there. So true. So that when I fall, I can quickly choose to stand up. Yes. Ooh, she got the high five, double high fives. Thank you, Shannon. You said that beautiful. That's a great comment to end on too.
Yes, it is. Good job. I like that.
Okay, well, it's been a wonderful hour. And right on time, Jamie. This never happens.
Wow,
this is a sign that you're coming back.
Okay,
serendipitous aside.
I'll be dreading that now, but no, actually, it was a lot better than I thought it was. So thanks, Bridge, for having me.
Yes, and I think it's important, especially when I'm going through this book, that I bring on other,
moms,
wives, ladies,
yep,
with little kiddos, because it's a whole other beast.
Yes, it is.
And but one thing I'll just say too, just the final thoughts, you guys, is that I did this. It was like a. Okay, it's weird. I do like virtual stuff. I get turned off easily, but it was like a Tony Robbins
Oh, okay.
thing. It was cool. And then I realized by the third day, it was more about businesses being successful. I was more focused on success for myself, right? Within myself. But I love that we did this exercise. It was really cool. I'm sure I know other people have heard about it. I heard about it previously, but he made us do it. It was great. So you close your eyes, okay? Keeping your eyes closed. Think about the things that are brown. Like what do you see that's brown? Okay, whatever. Open your eyes, list out the things. Now close your eyes. Now what are the things that are red? Okay. Open my eyes. As soon as, because red is not that common of a color or whatever, as soon as I was aware of it, I was like, holy shit, there's a lot of red in my room. So the point was, though, that awareness. So your brain, my brain, he really went into the science of it too. But when you make a point to want to look for those positive things, you want to look for those human beings being good people.
Yep.
You want to look for, the happy or whatever, joyous, positive things in life. You're going to fucking see them. Sorry.
Yep.
No, I'm cussing. Because on the flip side, me in my dark days of 17 years, I was looking for those crappy people. I was looking for those crappy reasons,
How bad everything was.
Yep, because I felt bad. So trying to be positive. No, it's not rainbows and flowers and lollipops every day. Okay.
Yep.
But especially when I'm having a hard day, I try to make a point to really pick out those just little moments where I'm like, oh yeah.
Yep.
Hey, this
And
is
be
good.
grateful for it.
Absolutely. All right, guys. Thank you so much for listening. Again, next week, 12 Faces of Sober author Kenneth L. Watson will be coming on. That's going to be fantastic. But I hope you all have a great week. And I'll see you tomorrow, JB.
Yep. I'll see you tomorrow.
Okay. And go into I like to end it. What do you think of do you listen to the end? Do you hear the ending music?
Yes, I have. I like the ending song.
Don't you?
Yeah, I do.
I feel like I like to let it play.
Hopeful and
Inspirational and positive, and it's called Returning Home.
Oh,
I picked that because I'm about to be returning home. All right, goodbye, everybody.